Cheat Code Support Strategist by myheadinthecoudsnotcomingdown. Read by Rat Overlord. Chapter 86 Identities. Summary: Secrets are revealed. Ochako paced back and forth across the street of the fake city. Why didn't he tell me?
I don't know.
Hitoshi shrugged sympathetically.
Maybe he forgot?
Forgot about a lifelong nemesis, Hitoshi? Ochako huffed. No, he just didn't want to tell me. I mean, he told me that he had enemies, but, he's the number one hero, so of course he does. But someone who has killed or at least brutally injured pretty much every single holder of One For All, that seems kind of like something he should have mentioned before I agreed to the quirk, right? Hitoshi rubbed his temples.
I agree completely.
Ochako stopped. Hey, Shindig, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Hitoshi did not look fine.
It's just that maintaining half control is a little more taxing than full control, and I've had Kurogiri under for quite a while.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Ochako gasped. We can deal with All For One later. What else do we need to know from this guy?
I'm not sure.
Hitoshi said.
I can just order him to go to sleep, but... Okay, so he said that all the quirks that made Warp Gate are stolen, didn't he?
Yeah. Ochako nodded. Why?
Well, I'm just wondering.
Hitoshi turned to Kurogiri.
Tell me if you chose to work for All For One. No.
Kurogiri said blankly.
Then tell me why you work for him.
Hitoshi insisted. Kurogiri seemed to fight the brainwashing for a moment before he answered.
Because he erased my memories and brainwashed me into being devoted to him.
Both Ochako and Hitoshi were shocked into silence for a long moment before Hitoshi managed to shake himself out of it.
Okay. Well, I order you to not be devoted to All For One anymore, and to remember what he forced you to forget.
Can you even do that? Ochako asked. Hitoshi took a deep breath.
There's only one way to find out.
He dropped his control, and they both dropped into fighting stances, but Kurogiri didn't fight them. Instead, the mist gradually receded until it was just covering the hair on his head, and he looked at them with bright yellow eyes that looked lost and a bit more than a little panicked.
Hi, my name is Oboro Shirakumo. Nice to meet you.
Ochako glanced over to Hitoshi, who shrugged.
I guess it worked.
The ground shook, almost knocking the three of them over, and Shirakumo gulped.
Oh no, he's here.
Isugu stared at the screen in shock. Half the school was gone. Before the ground started shaking, everything had been fine. Hitoshi and Uraraka had managed to catch Shirakumo, Dabi was fighting Todoroki, and the only villains still missing were Mineta and Spinner. Everything was fine. He sent some of the spider bots to the destroyed area, since the cameras there were obviously shot. Isugu felt a chill run down his spine as he watched the dark figure advance. He wasn't quite sure who he was, just that whatever was about to happen could not be good. He felt a chill run down his spine as May jumped up from his seat and whirled around. Stay right where you are, or I swear I will unleash all of my babies on you! I won't even blink! Isugu jerked his head around to see one of Kurogiri's portals appearing right behind them, and he only got more tense when Shinso stepped down, followed by someone they didn't recognize. The cat on Shigaraki's lap spat at the newcomer, and Shigaraki had fallen into a fighting stance, same as May. Hitoshi held up his hand.
Whoa guys, I can explain. It's just me.
May eyed him suspiciously. And where's Ochako?
She went to go fight All Might.
Hitoshi scowled.
We think it's his long-lost nemesis who just knocked down our front door.
Yeah, that's Sensei,
Shigaraki said.
But who is this noob?
I'm offended you don't recognize me, Tamura. It's me, Kurogiri.
The newcomer frowned.
Shirakumo? Sorry, I'm trying to undo a decade's worth of brainwashing and it's, kind of causing problems.
Shigaraki looked like his entire world had just been flipped upside down as Hitoshi confirmed.
Shirakumo is planning on pulling a Dusty and switching sides now that I got rid of All for One's brainwashing and got some of his memories back, so he's with us.
Isugu glared at the two of them suspiciously.
The League has someone who can change appearances. I still need you to prove that it's you, Hitoshi. Okay.
Hitoshi frowned thoughtfully.
She can't imitate quirks, just faces.
Shigaraki said helpfully.
So just brainwash this faker and make him tell you who he really is. 2 birds, 1 stone.
The man who claimed to be Kurogiri looked mildly offended, but nodded.
If that's what I have to do to prove my sincerity, then I'll do it.
Hitoshi nodded.
Are you sure?
Shirakumo took a deep breath.
Yes, I am.
Hitoshi took control and winced.
I'm kinda starting to reach my limit, buddy, but, tell me who you are. I'm Oboro Shirakumo, also known as Kurogiri.
Shinzo dropped his control with a huff.
There, is that good enough?
Isugu nodded.
Yeah.
There was another crash and Isugu ran back to his computer.
All Might is here.
Toshinori cursed himself for being so slow. If he was still at the height of his power, he could have gotten to Yue near instantly, or at least had enough resilience to catch a ride back with Uraraka after she had come to inform him about All for One's allies attacking the school. But no. As it was, he had to preserve his strength and couldn't run faster than the eye could see. He'd grown even weaker since the USJ incident, and especially since giving his quirk to young Uraraka. It didn't help that her constant disappearances and association with the wall gremlins was quickly giving him gray hairs. All that combined to say that he'd really been hoping that All for One was dead as he'd appeared 5 years ago. But unfortunately, that was clearly not the case. All for One knocked him through yet another wall, and All Might spat out another mouthful of blood as he forced himself to his feet.
I will not let you hurt my students! Ironically, it's not actually one of your students I'm after. It's my own.
All for One replied amicably.
Well, perhaps with the exception of your successor, but she's quite the slippery one. You stay away from her!
Toshinori snarled.
I won't have you hurting her like you hurt Master Shimura! Funny you would mention your old mentor.
All for One grinned widely.
Have I ever mentioned Tamura Shigaraki's true identity?
Well, he's an asshole,
Shigaraki said.
And here I thought he would have picked up anybody he thought he could manipulate.
Isugu and Mei had managed to get some shaky audio from the few remaining cameras, but even with the poor audio quality, they could have heard a pin drop as All for One detailed the way he had handpicked Shigaraki just because of his connection to One for All. Hitoshi snorted at Shigaraki's reaction.
You just learned that the guy who raised you basically only took you in to hurt All Might, and that's all you have to say?
What? Are you saying I'm wrong?
Shigaraki asked defensively.
And besides, he didn't do most of the work. His lackeys did, like Kuro, Shira, whatever over here.
If I'm allowed to put my 2 cents in,
Shirakumo said dryly.
May I just say that raising you was not easy?
The room shook again as All Might launched forward and the Titans started clashing again. This room is gonna come down soon. Mei frowned. Dust Boy, disintegrate the ceiling! Portal Man, make sure that the dust doesn't get into the computers!
Dust Boy!
Shigaraki balked.
Just do it, Tamura.
Shirakumo said tiredly.
I'll make sure the debris doesn't fall on any of us from above.
Destroy the room before it has a chance to destroy us. Isugu nodded thoughtfully. Smart. Not an option for the other students, though. I'm gonna give the group chat a clue for how to get into the tunnels. There's 1 or 2 places that can act as a bomb shelter, so I'll go ahead and send them a map. They just need to get there before All Might and All for One destroy the entire school. Easy. There was a long moment of awkward silence, and they all shared matching grimaces as they realized how not easy that would be. Finally, Shirakumo cleared his throat.
Maybe I can help. Unlike your friend Uraraka, I specialize in transporting large amounts of people at the same time.
No good, Mei said quickly. They won't trust you.
They don't have to.
Shirakumo said sheepishly.
Not if I'm quick enough.
Isuku blinked. So you're suggesting kidnapping our classmates for their own good? Hitoshi smiled.
Well, it won't be the first time you've done that.
The room shook again, and a few things fell off the shelves. Isuku's expression hardened. Do it. Ochako knew she'd be far safer inside instead of holding herself in mid-air above the school. But even though she knew Isuku probably had eyes on the fight, she couldn't bring herself to leave. In a way, this was her fight too. She was the next holder of One for All, and therefore All for One was her rival too. If All Might fell, she was the only one strong enough to pick up the fight. As if on cue, All for One launched another superpowered punch at All Might, who barely managed to hold his ground. The media was starting to swarm, and Ochako noticed a few helicopters in the air with her. Come on, All Might, Ochako muttered. You can do this! Get up and fight him! All Might, however, wasn't nearly as strong as he had been. Ochako gasped as the dust and steam cleared to reveal All Might looking ragged and deflated in his small form. She could only imagine how the media reacted, but she didn't have time to think on it because the moment she saw All Might in danger, she was suddenly right in front of him. She released her quirk and landed in a crouch, slowly standing and doing her best to stare down All for One when he didn't even have eyes. I think it's time we finally met, Ochako said, doing her best to keep her voice from shaking. I'm Ochako Uraraka, the 9th holder of One for All, and I'm here to take you down!
Ooh, shit! Yas, tween, slay, purr! What an ending to a chapter! Damn, Ochako about to pop off, bust some balls, really put One for All in his place, which is 6 feet under.
But anyways, if you enjoyed listening, feel free to leave a like or comment down below, because I always love hearing from you guys. And be sure to subscribe so you can stay up to date with whenever I post. And as always, here's your little daily reminder to go hydrate, you fiend.